welcome back to Capybara Go, and today we are making Angel's Bow build. Finally, I've managed to pull one of those randomly, and well, I decided that we need that guide. So this build is one of the most free-to-play friendly builds out there in the game because it scales really well and it doesn't require that much from you, just like I don't require a lot from you just liking and subscribing to this video. So yeah, along with the Whisperer, this is one of the easiest builds to do for the newer and free-to-play players, and let's go over it. The main idea of the build that Angel Bow abilities will be used consistently. Of course, it would be nice to have the mythic Angel Bow, but this is not so early game and it takes a while to get there, so we will consider both options, legendary and mythic one. If you have the epic bow, it usually doesn't worth it, it's better to use something else. So all those S weapons are good at legendary and higher. Let's talk about the angel daggers and becoming an angel. This is one of the most interesting questions, and you guys probably don't know what's that. Angel daggers trigger holy light on hit, dealing damage and restoring health. That's really nice description, but this doesn't give us that much information. Basically, when the dagger becomes angel dagger, it adds 33% damage, so it's additional damage, and heals 5% of your max HP. So you will get some recovery each time the angel dagger is triggered. Angel Bow releases one angel dagger at the ultimate rage attack, so you will get some of those by default, and based on the wiki, the Angel Bow has a chance of 35 to 50% to trigger angel dagger, so that's a really good chance to turn the normal daggers into the angel daggers. There is also a text version of the Angel Bow guide on the wiki if you want that. It can be updated unlike this video, so some things can be outdated here, and I will keep the wiki guide up to date, at least I will try to, so you can rely on that for more info. So now let's talk about the angel form, which is really mysterious, and I think it's kind of the same as the angel form from the special events during the runs when you gotta trigger 3 angel ultimate thingies. And basically in the angel form, the holy light will be added to the attack, and that holy light gives 100% attack as a damage that is affected by the critical damage in some way, and will recover 10% of max HP per attack. So that's additional healing and additional damage, and with the mythic tier bow, this will be pretty consistent, so that's a huge damage bonus. As a bow user, you will get quite a lot of weapon crit rate. At legendary +3, it's already +40%, and it will get even higher at the mythic, so you will need a lot of combo rate especially, and some counter rate from other sources. We will need combo, of course, because combo giving us additional attacks that will boost the damage. So let's talk about equipment first. What kind of equipment do we need for the Angel Bow? I used to run, well, I still run the Whisperer build, but for you, we will make the Angel Bow one. Basically, you want your Angel Bow at least at the legendary and even better at mythic, but I mean, yeah, it's hard to get. We all know that free-to-play players, it will take forever, guys. I will tell you that. I'm kind of not free-to-play anymore, and my Whisperer is only +3, and the second one is legendary, and I've spent like $600 or $800 already, so it will take a while before you can get it to mythic. And you need to pick only one weapon to upgrade, so select the build that you like and focus on it. You don't want to spread your options too much. For the armor, I would strongly recommend getting Dragon's Breath armor if you have survivability issues, because that will add you more HP pool. Basically, with the Angel build, you would like to get as high of HP pool as possible, because your healing will be percentage of that HP. Moreover, the amount of damage the enemies will do to you depending on your health pool. What I mean, you can be one-shotted if your health pool is too tiny, and no amount of healing will help you out, so the higher your health pool is, the better the survivability and the more bow healing you will get. But yeah, if you feel really confident in your survivability, you can easily switch to Tunic. I have both of those because that attack bonus is really good, but you get only 10% HP from this one, while the Dragon Breath armor will give us 25% extra and more healing. But yeah, since we get a lot of healing with Angel's Bow, I think that Tunic will be a better option, at least until your collectible with the Dragon Breath armor won't reach, where is it? I think at least 5 stars, because it also gives you shield then, and it's really good. So Yeah, at 10 stars it will give you extra attack, so it will be better, but it won't happen anytime soon. For the rings, you still would like to use Guardian's rings. If you don't have issues with the damage, 2 of the rings will be good enough for you, because they still throw daggers. They add survivability with the shield that scale with your max HP, and that will help you to survive longer for sure. Moreover, those daggers will allow you to get more angel daggers, and also will allow you to get the angel form more consistent, because you need 3 daggers, 3 angel daggers to get that form. So it's either 2 or 1 of those rings, up to you. If you need extra damage, you can rely on Judgment Ring, because it will summon 2 balls that will give additional skill crit rate. And for the angel's bow, your damage source will be both basic weapon damage and the skill damage, because you get pretty good amount of daggers as well. And that will boost your damage quite a lot, especially at the higher tier, so it's pretty good. So yeah, you will have to balance it out depending on your stats and your stage in the game between Guardian's Rings and Judgment Ring. As for the accessories, your best bet is going with the Bloody Grail, because that thing will add you quite a lot of damage, and yeah, it's really good. You can even use 2 grails if you want to, but I prefer to go with 1 because of that passive effect. It will be used only once because it's unique passive, and because I lack survivability. So yeah, that extra HP will help, because you can upgrade 1 to the higher tier. Another option is getting the Proof of Glory with the damage reduction that will still be needed. The further you go, the higher your chapter is, the more damage reduction you will need. So at some point you might want to add a Proof of Glory to your setup with the mythic damage reduction. But once again, for the free-to-play players, it will take forever to build. And yeah, a good alternative to this will be actually adjusting your pet build to get more damage reduction over there. So if you can, get damage reduction from the pets instead, because extra damage will be way better. Alright, as for the Angel Bow, the first treasure bonus isn't that great. It gives ultimate damage bonus. Really good bonus here is level 5, so increased probability of angel daggers being used. So that will be really nice. Other than that, like higher tier ones are really good as well, but basically this is very expensive, so that's not for the free-to-play players, and it will take a while before you'll be able to reach some significant bonuses from the treasures. Don't focus on that too much. Now let's move on to the heroes and the brands. For the heroes, you still would like to go just for most of the builds with the Knight of the End for survivability if you have issues with that, because those shields are really good, and I still have no idea if they boost other shields. I guess they boost only their own shields, but yeah, it's still a lot of survivability over here, and it's nice. And since you will be stacking a lot of combo, Judgment Reaper will be a good option, because it will trigger quite often. At legendary it's even better, and yeah, it will add a lot of attack for you. Spring Orchid is another good option for the damage. I think it's even better in case if you use bolt a lot, or if you use that ring that adds bolt. So yeah, it will help with the skill damage. It's not as good for this build, but it can be a good option. You can try it, you can test it and figure out which works better for you, Reaper or the Spring Orchid. You can try it yourself and figure out which works better for you, Judgment Reaper or Spring Orchid, and decide what you want to go with. For the brands, for the insignias, it's a bit more complex, because you need those guys at a higher level to be useful. Wild Vulture is a good option because it adds max combo count, really lifesaver, and extra combo rate. Using the Murloc over here will add you combo from the start and increase the combo damage, which will add quite a lot to the damage. And the Stone Guardian is a good option for survivability because it adds shield value and adds basic shield. That will add up with the combo attacks as well, so overall, you still need those shields to survive tougher attacks, so that will help. For the 4th slot, you might consider Harpy, especially if you go with the lightning quite a lot and if you use that elemental damage, because it will give you more lightning damage and it will give you turn lightning, which is actually not that bad, and will help you with the shock discharge if you can get it, to prevent enemies from using their ultimates. Other options are really hard to get. You might want to go with Undead Swordsman for extra basic attack damage for your main weapon. You might want to go with the Phantom Assassin for extra dagger damage and sword aura damage if you use the sword chip, but physical damage is a good bonus as well. So yeah, it's up to you, pick the one that you like and use the situational awareness. You can adjust the last slot for something that you like right now. For the mounts, probably the best option would be getting Diego, because that adds one more combo limit. That will be really efficient if you have really high combo chance and you can stack them up. Moreover, you can get the actual combo rate per round that will add up quite a lot of damage to the build. So this is one of the best options for active damage. If you are early on and you manage to get Luminous Dragon instead, that's another good option that adds Bolt again, so you will get more skill damage and increase crit rate and crit damage quite a lot, which is a really good option as well, so it helps with the shock discharge as well, so up to you. And if you are being one-shot, if you have issues with being killed, you can use Toffee in order to get more global damage reduction and recover more HP, but usually it's not the best option, but up to you again. Let's move on to the artifacts, and here, well, it's pretty much Demonic Eye most of the time, because you will have a lot of combos, you will get a lot of chance to trigger this, and that will be really good, especially with the percentage of target's max HP damage and chance to reduce the target HP recovery by 90% for one round, which is essential against the vampire bosses that are... the further you go, the more annoying they are. Their recovery can really be very annoying. If you can deal with the vampires in some other way, you can, for example, use Slime Brand or Insignia. You can use the Spear of Thor as well. That's another good option with the damage. It will trigger a lot of bolts and works well with the skill build. So if you rely on the bolts and use the dagger bolts, for example, that might be a good option, and that will do pretty decent bonus damage to the enemies. So for the pets, she is a no-brainer because of the reducing target's attack by percentage and increasing damage taken by them, so this is a really good option and should be picked all the time. Then the Slime King, because of the Slime King combo and counter bonuses, which are really important, and it can add quite a lot of that over time. Really efficient. And then for the last slot, you can either use the Unicorn for extra crit damage, but the thing is, for this build, probably skill damage will be a better option. So Freya is another good alternative with additional attack, and it's a skill attack that will be buffed by its bonuses as well. It gives heroes skill crit rate and skill damage and 3 stacks, so it's pretty close to Susu, which is good as well with the fire, electric, and ice damage, so it will boost only the bolts, while Freya will boost both bolts and daggers, so Freya is a better option. Susu is another alternative, but right after Freya, I guess, so up to you. And most likely Little Ellie will be out of the rotation for you, because you will get a lot of healing from other sources. If you still need that one, you might want to go for it, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend it, especially in the later game, because even in the Whisperer build, I don't use it anymore. We have other ways of healing, and Little Ellie's healing isn't that great over time, because it scales with the attack, but it's only once every couple of turns, so it's not that crazy. Now let's talk about the inheritance, and there are two main options that you would like to go for. First one is Skeleton, which will be most likely the most beginner-friendly, because it will add quite a lot of the combo rates. So the first tier 2 actually, adds 20% combo rate to you, and further on it will give you combo damage, which will add a lot of damage, and like the further you go, the more combo bonuses you will get. So this is a good option for the starters who don't have enough combo damage. If you have sufficient combo damage, Gust will be the best option for sure, because it will give you skill damage bonus, which will work for both daggers and like other attacks, and skill critical rate, so that will boost your attack way more. As for the skills, there are a lot of options. I might want to make the tier list for the Angel build, because it's a bit different from everything else. For the general rule of thumb, getting the War Veteran is always the highest priority, because it just increases attack every time. Combo Dagger, throw 2 daggers in a row, a good option to get the upkeep of the daggers as well. Trinity Force is always nice, because it gives us combo and counter rate, and you want to have as high amount of combo and counter as possible for those attacks in the angel form if you have the mythic bow. Before that, it's still good for extra damage, so it's a nice option. As for the rest of those, probably not that worthy. It's always nice to get super life if you have survivability issues, because it boosts your HP pool so much and it will make your healing more efficient. Then for the legendary skills, you would like to get the combo mastery if you can. This is one of the best skills for this build, because you will need that extra combo, you will will do a lot of combos, and that will boost your attack a lot. You can even upgrade it to the second tier to get more attack bonuses per combo. Counter mastery is a good as well because it gives you the counter rate, which is not as great as the combo, but still good, and will give you lifesteal, so you will get even more healing on your attacks. Then we have survivability options like shock discharge, which is really good if you are having issues with the enemies who might kill you with their rage attack, which is most of the time. And then we have shrink spell that will lower the enemy attack. Really good as well in all the builds basically, because it's added on top of the damage reduction, so it's always helpful. Then we would like to get a dagger cooldown, so all daggers cooldown will be reduced by 1 round. That means that all your dagger skills will be triggered every 1 round instead of every 2 rounds, so you will get more daggers being thrown at the enemy. So those are like the most useful skills. Now let's talk about something that will boost your damage. Crit mastery will be really nice because it will boost the critical damage on the critical, and it will boost the basic attack critical rate, so that will add a bit more damage to your normal and rage attacks, and counter and combos as well, by the way. And then you would like to get all the dagger options, but the highest priority goes to rage dagger and bolt dagger. Those things will help you out quite a lot. If you manage to get the rage dagger, you might focus on some of the rage skills like rage shield, because that will give you quite a decent bonus shield if you have survivability issues, and you will trigger way more rage than you used to, so that will be really nice. Healing dagger might be not as good for you. You can use it for extra daggers, but healing, if you have survivability issues, might be good, but most of the time you will be healing from other sources more effectively. And poison dagger in case if you want to get the bonus damage to the poison targets, that might be a good option as well, and it adds additional dagger, so why the hell not. Let's go over other skills so I won't miss anything. Usually you don't want to pick something that will give you light spears or fire strike attacks, because those will add extra skills to your pool and it will dilute it with additional skills. Basically, once you acquire additional type of attack, you will get several skills that will boost it, and sometimes it's harder to get the right skills for you because of that. The only difference, if you need extra health pool, you might want to go with the light spears and get the light spear shield that will add additional shield to you on every light spear. That's new after the patch, and it's pretty convenient sometimes, but still it takes a lot of skills from your other options, so I don't know how useful is that for your specific situation. Another skill that's worth mentioning is Icy Spike. You might want to get it from, well, different sources, and you need them because getting the Frostbite will lower the enemy attack. Basically, same stuff as Shrink, so they will do less damage to you and you will be surviving more tougher enemies, and Killing Freeze will give you pretty decent bonus to enemies. It's easy to get, so why the hell not? Dodge is another good option in order to increase your survivability. If you totally avoid the attack, you don't need to heal after that, and things like lifesteal will help you to heal off your attacks as well. But once again, it's very dependent on your build and your stage in the game. Oh, another really cool thing that I almost missed is combo, because if you don't have the Murloc, that will give you extra combo rate, and both of those are really good for getting extra attacks on the enemy. It will depend on your basic combo rate, so you don't want to go way too high, but basically it's really useful, let's put it like that. You would like to avoid Smelly Dagger at all costs because it will remove all your dagger effects, so it's a curse for the dagger builds. Alright, we have the Alchemist here. As I said, if you have the poison daggers, that might be a good damage to your damage output. Frozen Touch can be useful in some cases when the enemies are pretty tough and you can't kill them fast enough, especially the areas where you have a lot of enemies during one round. Do you remember those 5-day adventures where you have to defeat like a couple of enemies? That will help you to get rid of enemies fast, because that chance to kill weak enemies works really well. It's also useful for the dungeon to get through it faster. Other than that, Royal Crown is always a nice bonus, Spellmaster is always a nice bonus, even though it decreases basic attack damage by a bit. And there are other skills that you might want to pick based on your current build and situation, and let's talk about the adventure things a bit. If you like the dodge, you can use the Drunken Fist if you get the Panda. That will allow you to get extra damage after the dodge, so that's a pretty good option. And probably Peak Smash might be a good option for you, but beware because it takes one slot of legendary skills which are good otherwise, so that stun will come at the price. And of course, if you get some higher tier adventurers, their skills are really good as well. War Maniac is really nice, especially upgraded, because it will lower the debuff to the skill damage. So at some point at level 5, you will only get extra basic attack damage and will not get lower skill damage. And it's really good and gives you pretty decent damage bonuses. So yeah, therefore worth it. Both Dragon Girl and Little Bear Prince skills, they are fantastic. So yeah, that's why Angel's Bow build is so easy to build, because you don't need a lot of different equipment here at the highest tier to make it work. All you need is Angel Bow at legendary tier to start. At Mythic tier, it will be already really good at Mythic 0, because you will get that Angel power that will increase both your survivability and the damage. So yeah, and it's really versatile because you can use both basic attacks and skill attacks. So yeah, I think that's all I can tell you about the Angel build. Let me know in the comments if I missed something and how do you use your Angel Bow. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. That will help to promote the video in YouTube algorithm. Check out the pinned comment in the video description for additional links, the playlist with the rest of the videos, the wiki with more info on the game, the LD players who can play it on the PC like I do, and my Discord because it's a nice place to be. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. It's been Stan Kosh. Have a good one. Bye.